Back in chapter 1, we all used to wait for weekly Fortnite updates to drop on a Tuesday, so we can be the first ones in the game to experience the new weapons, the changes to the map, and to see what weapons got nerfed and what weapons got buffed. But now you don't even know when the next Fortnite update is, and some of you are actually scared for the new Fortnite update because there's gonna be some fun casual item that eventually gets added but will get removed because of a glitch, such as the nitro fist that just break the game. So what really happened and what led to this? Well, let's rewind to May 1st, 2018, the day that Season 4 Chapter 1 was released. This introduced Dusty Divot. This season had to be one of the seasons with the most amount of updates we've ever seen. It added so much to the storyline, added little shacks around the map, tunnels, rifts, skeleton bones, more meteors hitting the map, and changing POIs such as risky reels, all gearing up for the final live event. Players at that time were getting their weekly dose of dopamine, which kept them playing, always keeping the game fresh. The great thing about Epic Games at the time was that they added items that didn't actually break the game, and they added lots of them. I just don't understand now, with the experience they have, how they managed to break the game even more. Maybe the glitches have just gotten better, who knows. Another genius trick that Epic did to keep up the weekly updates was to add a POI called The Block. This was a creative driven update, a section of the map at the top. It was essentially a square area where Epic would pick someone's submission of a POI that was made in creative to be put in the game for 1 week, and they did this throughout the entirety of Season 7 Chapter 1. This was a hassle-free way of keeping updates without Epic themselves having to do much, while also having the advantages such as keeping the game fresh and no one really complained. With all the above said, we have been getting weekly updates from essentially Season 4 Chapter 1 to Season X Chapter 1. All the players were used to it. Every Tuesday a new update would drop, and on a Monday people would either start leaking it or would at least get the community talking about or speculating about what the next update is going to be about. It was fixated in our brain that on a Tuesday we were going to play FN, meaning we cared. When Fortnite would eventually do an update, they would release the patch notes to exactly point out every little minute detail that was changed in the update. Especially pros, they loved this because it would mean they could change the game style, they would start looking for new metas, start finding out new tricks with the update, and basically being as efficient and as quick with the gameplay as you possibly can, which is what makes a pro a pro. But suddenly in Chapter 2 they stopped releasing the detailed patch notes. Instead they started releasing blogs about the update. This of course had a negative reaction from the community. It was as though Epic Games was distancing themselves from the player base and not listening to the player base, which is what made Fortnite a huge game in the first place. It kept its player base, was the whole entire time was due to the fact that Epic actually listened to the community. They would listen and they would change something if the whole consensus, the overall consensus was that they didn't like a particular feature in the game or a particular weapon gun, and Epic would eventually listen, and that made Fortnite really popular and Epic Games likable as a company. From the release of Chapter 2, Epic employees would start taking more and more breaks, meaning less updates happening, and of course they did deserve it at this point, considering that they've been working hard non-stop from Chapter 1 to Chapter 2 basically. But the issue was that they just dialed it down instantly. So we went from having weekly updates from Chapter 1 Season X to just having like 2 or 3 updates. Chapter 2 Season 1 was a 128-day season, and we would see about 3 minor updates the entire season, and minor I just mean a few changes to the map here and there, and maybe a little buff or a debuff of weapon stats. And we would see 2 major updates where they would actually add something new to the game, like a new weapon or something. That would be it. For a 128-day season, this is minute to what Epic was doing before. We could clearly see that Epic was settled with the game, meaning that they liked how the game was and they didn't want to change much. It's a bit like phones nowadays. iPhones, they barely change throughout the re-editions. That's what Epic was doing basically at this point. From this point till now, we have started seeing less and less updates. Epic doing updates that ain't impactful decreases the overall hype, and essentially it has become down to a point where no one really cares. Just now while I was recording this video, Pirates of the Caribbean collab was released into the game, and there was a new POI with a pirate ship, and I didn't find out there was actually a new POI in the pirate ship until I was actually playing the game myself. Usually back in the day, the first thing I would find what's coming in a new update would be from Twitter or even YouTube from Ali. There'll be all videos made by all content creators talking about what leak and what is coming in the update, but now you don't see that anymore. I guess things have changed. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of this topic. I also want to touch upon the fact that back in the day there used to be some type of storyline. Even from chapter 4 there was a storyline, and this made it very easy for Epic Games to add whatever they wanted to add. So for example, the purple cube that they added, there was even more stuff that they added, such as the little tunnels, as I mentioned before, the rifts, the loot island, and even more and more on, just because they had a storyline written on paper and like a little script on what is going to be happening in sequential order. They could very easily adapt the storyline to the map and make very good changes. But however, now we see that like Epic Games has just given up on the story, and it's very hard for them to actually change the map because they've got like no guideline. And with that being said, if you did enjoy this video, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and also watch this video on the screen if you're interested, and peace out.